guys, I need everybody off their devices and paying attention, because after we're done going through this, I'm going to give you a different situation and 3 different expressions or different expression pairs, and I'm going to ask you to do this just with a partner, and I'm not going to go over it afterwards. Okay? So I want to think for just a moment before we talk about these other 2 expressions. If you are adding the price of the 2 phones together, what are you doing at the store?
What do you mean by that?
I want to think about this in the context of the problem. We're talking about the price of a 64 gigabyte phone and the price of a 32 gigabyte phone. If you're at the cash register and they add those 2 prices together, why would they do that? You're buying both phones. That other expression said the price of 2 32 gigabyte phones. Why would they have the price of the 32 gigabyte phone twice? Yeah, you're getting 2 of those phones. Like you're getting the same phone for each of your little cousins for Christmas. And they're getting the same thing so they don't fight about it at all. So this would be buying 2 of the cheaper phones. All right, we're going to talk about these next 2 here. And again, after we're done doing this, I'm going to give you guys a different situation. And you're going to go through and talk about this exact same thing with that different scenario and those different expressions. So I want to get a lot of practice in figuring out, what do these things mean? What are they telling me about the situation? So that I can then determine if I can figure out which one's bigger. We said on Friday that P plus Q is bigger because it's going to be more money to buy 1 of each phone than if you get 2 of the cheaper phones, right? So here I've got 2 expressions again. I have P plus 0.08 P. So what does just the P by itself mean? 64 gigabyte phone. So this is the price of the 64 gigabyte phone plus what? Plus 8% of what? 8% of, yep, of the price of the 64 gigabyte phone. Why in the world would they add 8% of the price of the phone to the price of the phone? Tax. This would be the tax on the phone. So altogether, this whole expression is telling me the price plus tax to buy the phone, or the price with tax. For the 64 gigabyte phone. So Q plus 0.08 Q, what would that be telling me? One more time, just a little louder. Yeah, this is telling me the same pieces of information, but just about the 32 gigabyte phone. So this is the price with tax. For the 32 gigabyte phone. Which one's bigger? Which one's bigger? Which expression is bigger, or which one's more expensive? Yeah, 64 gigabyte phone with tax is going to be more expensive than the 32 gigabyte phone with tax, right?
Yes.
All right. So I would write that P plus 0.08 P is bigger because the 64 gigabyte phone with tax is more expensive than the 32 gigabyte phone with tax. All right. We've got one more expression pair to look at. I have 600 minus P. Let's start off with what that even means. P is what again? Price of the 64 gigabyte phone. And I'm doing 600 minus that price. Why would you do that? If you have a $600 budget or $600 in your pocket or $600 in your checking account, why would you minus the price of the phone? Find out how much you'd have left after you buy it. So this would be, here, let me write out everything. You would start with $600. Then you'd buy the 64 gigabyte phone. So the expression tells me how much is left after buying the 64 gigabyte phone. Thank you. Okay, if that's what the first expression means, then 600 minus Q would mean what? What'd you say, Jason? Yep. So what does the whole expression tell me then? So each individual piece says I start with 600 and then I go buy the 32 gigabyte phone. So after I do that subtraction, what does it tell me about the situation? Yes. How much is left after buying the 32 gigabyte phone if you start with $600? I want you to think really carefully about this for a minute. You have $600 in your bank account, and so do I. We walk into the same store together at the same time. I buy the 64 gigabyte phone, and you buy the 32 gigabyte phone. Which one of us has more money left over? Yes, if you buy the 32 gigabyte phone, if you buy the cheaper phone, you have more money left over, right? So which expression is bigger? Which one would leave you with the most? 600 minus Q is bigger. Because you'd have more left over if you bought the cheaper phone. If you guys turn in your books to page 84, I'm going to give you about 20 minutes. You may work with a partner or a small group. Different scenario, different expressions. 84, very next page. Different situation, different expressions. I want you to do the same thing with it though. What do these expressions mean? And which one's bigger? So I'm going to give you guys some paper and markers because I want you with your partner to do all three expressions on one big piece of paper. Okay? You do not have to work with who you're sitting next to, but you do need to work with someone. It can be groups of up to 3 people. Groups of up to 3. So King, I'll give you some, although you're welcome to find people to work with. Please do. Groups of no more than 3. You are going to turn this into me.
This bull.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You know what they say, right?
What?
They don't say that, but I say that.
What are we saying it about?
Our group,
Your group?
or having friends.
I'll let you guys do. Slight addendum. If you want to be in a group of up to 4, you may do so. You may be in a group of up to 4 if you like. No groups of 1, please. I want you to work with somebody. Find somebody that you can get along with well enough. Yes.
Trying to talk to my mom.
Green and orange. You do not have to work with who you're sitting next to, but you do need to find somebody to work with. And the group should not be any bigger than 4 people. You guys have 15 minutes. That's 5 minutes for each expression pair. I want you to do the same kind of thing. And just to get you started, in this, the X's are the males, and the Y's are the females. What do we know about this university with regards to the males and the females? There's more of which one?
Female.
More females. You're right. So I want to know, what does the expression mean, like we did with the phones? So back here where we did the Q plus Q, even though we didn't have prices for either of those, we knew that this phone was more expensive In this situation, we know there's more girls than boys. So I want to know, like, what does the expression mean? Here we said this is like combining both phones, that's your whole price. So what would I be finding out here if I took the X and the Y and I added them together? What would that tell me? Yeah, combine. Yeah. Alright, guys, just to clarify, you're going to write the expression pairs here. What's in your book is for yourself, but this is what you're going to be handing in to me for the 3 expression pairs. Needs to have the names of your group numbers on there. What do these expressions mean? And can you determine which one's bigger, like we did on the last one? Alright? So that means, yep, number of females multiplied by 2. Yep, that's that exact idea. Okay, so question right here, when you say number of males, what does that tell you about this situation? Combining males and females. Why would you add the number of males and number of females together? See how many males there are. That next one. But what operation is happening between the 2 and the y? Multiplication. So here we had something similar to Q. We said this was price of 2 of the 32. It's not buying 2 of them, right? What does the y mean here? Females. So we're doing 2 times the number of females. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Double the number of females. Yeah. No. Now, can you tell which one of those would be bigger? The females in general? Like which? Okay. Yeah. 2y. You're saying that this one would be bigger than this one. It doesn't matter how many males, how many females. We know that at this university there's more females. Yes. So question, you said up here, is that what the denominator is here? So you have the males divided by 2. And you have the females divided by the 2. What did that tell you about the situation? There is, but what does it, first thing on the list, what does it tell you about the situation? Why would you take that right one part and divide it by the 2 like this? There we go. Yes. I want to know first, what do they mean? And then, can you tell me first? If you guys are stuck, please let me know. I'm happy to come around and help you talk about it. Well, we start off with what they mean. What's it telling us? And then you're going to decide which one's bigger. So, if you look back at what we did with I know. Back here, we said that P plus Q, well, P means the price of my and Q is the price of the money. So what I was pointing out by adding these two together, that's like a lot of cycles. It tells you the total price of this is even more. What would it tell you about the situation?
Yeah, you did. You did.
That's how once I lost my
I'm in the same running back.
Hey, can somebody write this information
Just double the yeah, so then that would take care You guys, do you want to get started? What does the x plus y tell you?
Man and female.
What about them? They're students at a university. So what happens if you take the number of male students and you add it to the number of females? But what does it tell you about the situation? It is going to get bigger. But what does it tell you about this university?
You got the 80 days.
What would it tell me about the school here if I take all the freshmen plus all the sophomores plus all the juniors plus all the seniors? What does that tell me about Pike?
You talking about babysitting?
What am I finding out by adding all those together? Yes. So what does this tell me about the university? Not to the best of our knowledge, which is right. So this is gonna find how many.
Bro, I averaged 8 episodes a day watching.
I'm heading back there in just a moment. How many students in the school?
It's 5 hours a day.
Guys, we've got about 5 more minutes for you to continue to work on this. Please put your posters together. What would this tell you? The number of females to be divided by the total number of students. Why would you do something like that? What would it tell you about the situation if you take the number of males and you divide it by the total number of
She didn't say that because of I never said that she. Oh God, I was like, oh God, you. She said that she ain't gonna work out. She didn't say that. I just said I made it sense. Yeah.
So are you gonna decide? This would be the first.
You don't know the male.
Which one's bigger? Yeah, someone should tell me what they need.
Literally, as long as I'm in a group chat, she really pissing me off. Really, because I'm watching her grade. Really. The number of female participation. Okay, what am I going to say? Exactly. The one who I don't care. You
About something that we've been working on the last couple days about trying to get tomorrow. What else do you want to go Wednesday? The number. I think I'm going to note on that. So if you go find out, it should show you. Bro, Lucy. Hey. So questions. Hold on, ma'am. Males. What does that tell you about the situation?
The percent.
There we go.
Well,
Yeah, I already wrote that up here.
See, it has the same thing.
Oh, the older.
Yeah, so yeah, this would totally be the percent of males. And this is different. Yeah, so I don't know, what kind of number would it be?
What do you mean? Would it still be a percent?
Well, which one's bigger, males or females? Males is bigger?
Oh, it tells you it's a given. Okay.
It's a given, we know that there's more females.
This is not what I want. Who is this? I don't even know why you guys are
If it's different stuff in different places, or me and that means I can't. So my comments there are like, is this something that she can do in her head? Is it different than different? It doesn't have to be a precise calculation. She's driving on the road. She just wants to know, am I gonna have to call somebody for gasoline or can I make it? So she doesn't need to do something precise to figure that out. We walked through one way she could do it. How would you think about someone that might be easier for? Something that you might be able to do driving down the road. Just like, how to make it. Oh. We'll look at that because I think I get it.
No, it makes sense.
I'm coming. Miss Bull. Yes.
You're gonna put this down. The number of females double that
Are in the school, yes, that's what that means. Wonderful.
You said what?
All right. You guys have 3 minutes to finish these up. I want you to come and bring them and put them up here when you're done with them. Because then there's one more thing that we want to look at. Okay, so what do you say X plus Y? What's that tell you about the school? If you take all the males and all the females together. The total number of schools. So X plus Y. Wait. Total number of schools. Oh, right. Here, you're taking the number of males, divided it by the total number of males, right? Well, think about it this way. If I figure out here, because you have a number of brothers that might divide by number of brothers. If I were to take all the brothers, the number of brothers, I will divide it by all the brothers.
I had some. Bro, they started talking.
Not just the number of brothers. Is that what you might do? What happens if I divide it by the If I take all of All right. If you're still working on your posters, you can do that, but I want to talk about a couple other things quickly. And then I do want to have the opportunity to show you your tests. When it comes to your tests, If you're not pleased with the score that you got, I don't care what the score was. We took a test on Friday, or the Friday before you joined us. If you're not pleased with the score you got, no matter what that score is, you can come in and do corrections and retake that test, and I will only take the higher grade. So there is no risk in deciding to come in and do corrections and a retake. All right? Question? Again, if you're still working on your posters, that's okay. How would I tell in an expression pair which one's bigger? Why? 5 is bigger than 3. Are the other operations the same? No. One is 5 plus t squared. The other one is 3 minus t squared. So which one's bigger?
5 plus t squared.
Yeah. What kind of number will I always get when I square something?
Huh?
What kind of number will I get when I square something? What does it mean to square something?
Double.
Nope. Multiply the same number by itself. So if I take like 5 and I square it, that's 5 times 5, right? What kind of a number do I get? Positive or negative? Positive. What about if I do negative 5 squared?
That's still be positive, because it's negative times negative makes a positive.
Negative times negative makes a positive. So when I take a number and I square it, I always get what type of number back? Positive number.
Make it a negative number.
So 5 plus a positive number. And the other one is 3 minus the same positive number. Which one would have to be bigger?
First one.
First one. Down below, I have 15 over x squared plus 6 and 15 over x squared plus 7. Tell me what type of number x squared has to be. Positive. So which expression would have to be bigger?
The second one.
Second one, why?
7 is 1 more bigger than 6.
So that means this one is bigger?
Yes.
Question.
No.
15 divided by 7, 15 divided by 6. Which one's bigger?
15 divided by 6.
15 divided by 6 is bigger.
Yeah, usually the smaller fractions are bigger.
Yeah. We're not dividing it in as many pieces. While I'm passing back the test, I want you guys to try to figure out on these last two, which one is bigger and how can you know? If you get really stuck, you can do like what I did where you just substitute something in, but see if you can figure it out without substituting first. You guys are not allowed to remove the tests from the room, so please do not put them in your folder, do not put them away. And I've got a couple people that have not taken the test yet. So I'm going to ask those individuals to step out. So Jaslyn, Christina, and Kalia, I need you guys to step out. Mhm.
Yeah, she had to do something. Okay. Can't write it straight.
I do need you back.
You wrote kind of down. I kind of wrote up.
So you cannot leave with these. If you have not taken a test yet, I need you to step out.
You'll be staying there. Finish this.
Again, if you're not pleased with your grade, you can do you're not pleased with your score, you can do corrections in a retake. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I don't have after school hours for it because there's a conflict that's outside of my control, but I do have study time every day during fifth period. Yeah, you can come in and do that. Sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to come in and do corrections in a retake, you may come in during your fifth period study time and do it then. Or you can come in during after-school office hours. I don't have regular Tuesday hours this week because of a conflict that I was not able to reschedule. But Thursday, I have office hours to make up for that.
Let me see the check mark.
You want to? Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. I will write you a pass so you can come in here. I need these back from you before you leave the room. Thank you. If you are not pleased with your score, you can come in and do corrections and a retake. Did you have questions, Heather?
I didn't use that.
I'm sorry, I chose not to use red because I try not to be negative. And I put the pluses on there instead of the minuses because I'm going after everything I can.
Why do you have to use she's like, I heard from you. Mark the whole thing. I think in some countries they have did you guys have any questions?
We're gonna be doing some of this.
Well, you know, it's not the best thing.
After this Alright. If you need a pass for today, please see me before you leave. If you need a pass for today, please see me before you leave.